DA. I know that the Freewinds ship is the only place you can do OT8. Is it docked while you're on the ship, or are you traveling somewhere? Is there any relevance to being on water? Also, wouldn't the staff realize, there's only like 5 people doing OT8 a year? Okay, good question, DA. So the Freewinds sails around the ABC Islands down in the Caribbean zone there. Sorry, I always get those confused. Anyway, so you have Aruba, what is it? Curacao and Barbados, right? The ABC Islands, and that's where the Freewind sort of triangulates its journeys. And yes, sometimes it is docked when it is in for repairs or some kind of renovation or overhaul or something like that. They've done that a couple times over the years, and they have continued to run services while the ship was in dry dock. But for the most part, it's out on the water. And the reasoning given for why the ship was purchased and utilized to deliver the highest OT levels, OT8 was supposed to be the first of, many, is because apparently Hubbard said that in order to deliver this highest level, you have to be off the crossroads of the world and off in some uninturbulated, calm, chill space to just do the work and get it done. And it's not even a very long action getting through OT8, a couple weeks, I think. And then you go home. So, and you do class work and stuff as well at the same time. So that's the relevance to it being on the water. It's supposed to be off the crossroads of the world. Now, I honestly wonder, I really do. I wonder if Miscavige didn't just make all of that up. In order to have a ship out there in international waters, which I think gives them the ability to move money and do a few other things, disappear people as well, that they wouldn't have the ability or advantage to do just with land-based operations, right? Because after the Sea Org landed in Clearwater in 76 or 77, I think it was 75 actually is when they actually officially landed, 75 or 76. Anyway, when they came to shore, they sold off all the boats. They didn't have any more boats or anything. So there was no more Scientology presence on the water. I mean, I think they had a training vessel over in LA that was permanently docked in LA Harbor. But that was it. And they weren't out sailing around anymore. And so I think by the 80s, especially with the tax problems and the IRS war and everything that was going hot and heavy, and also Hubbard having died in 86, I mean, he was off in hiding. I think Miscavige was kind of looking at this and going, there were some advantages to us having a presence out in international waters where we could put things and people and stuff like that and not have to think about them or deal with them anymore. And they are away from the long arm of the law to some degree out there, right? So I think that is part of the calculus for why the ship was purchased, or at least something I've wondered about in regards to all of this. As far as the staff, looking at how few people there are there, honestly, what ends up, you got to get the mindset. Okay, you got to get the mindset. When you're in a cult, and especially in the Church of Scientology as a Sea Org member, if something's not going right, it's your fault. I really don't know how many times I can say this and really get it across. It's your fault. And you believe it's your fault. So if there were only 8 people or 5 people doing OT8, guess whose fault that is? For the people on the ship, it's their fault. They're not working hard enough or fast enough or on the right target, with enough intention to get those OTs out there on up the bridge and up to OT8. And this is why they do seminars and conventions and try to fill the void with other services to keep the ship afloat and pay for itself. But also because they, in their mind, getting people to the ship is a way of getting them pushed up the line to OT8 so they'll come back to the ship for the OT8 level. So It's always on them. It's always on their shoulders, right? So that's how they look at that situation. It's only when you start busting out of that mindset, which takes, a personal betrayal of some kind or a personal impact of some kind to bust through that prison of belief. When you do start thinking, hey, wait a minute, there's only 5 people here doing OTA. What are we doing here? That's disaffection, right? That's you being disaffected because Scientology is perfect. And if it's not working, it's because you're not making it work. And that's what you'll be told very forcefully and repeatedly as a Scientologist and as a Sea Org member. So that's the mindset they're in. So I really want to just emphasize that again, because I get these questions about, wouldn't staff realize? No, they wouldn't. That's the whole point of being in a destructive cult, is they don't realize it. Not until the church, and now let me be clear about this, okay? Because of course people do wake up to it, but the reason they wake up to it is because something happens to them personally. That they go, oh, wait a minute, and they there's a betrayal, there's a lie that they discover, or something bad happens to them. They get abused a little bit too much, and they start going, hang on, something's not right here, But it has to have that personal impact before they'll start waking up and looking around and realizing that there is something wrong. They don't just do it on their own. That's what I wanted to stress about that. So anyway, thanks for asking that question.